2, 1, we're live.
Hey guys, Spidey09 here. Hope you're having a marvelous day. Today on Marvel's Pack Fresh podcast, we have elusive, sketch card, Ginger Man cards, and we're gonna be chatting it up Marvel style, right, guys?
Marvel style,
Yeah.
love it.
Love Marvel style. So hey, having a lot of fun in the community. Love seeing the community grow. I mean, it's just been so good, so good. And you know, there's a lot of niches even inside of this small niche of Marvel trading cards. And one of those is autos, right? We've got all kinds of autos. We've got artist autos, you know, and creator autos. And we have the Black Diamond stuff, which is Marvel related, Marvel themed, but it has actor autos. And so I thought, you know what, it'll be good if we could maybe chat about how, you know, the current state of autos in our collecting hobby and maybe where we see that in the future.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Norrin.
What the?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ordered it.
I guess I did. Yeah, this was so off camera right beforehand. I was like, let's talk MCU autos.
Let me lay it up for you, Norrin. So you look at the latest release for Black Diamond, right? Tons of autos in that set, like tons and tons, numbered to 10, 50,
23.
even more than that, right? By individual part. But then they have these, you know, achievements on e-packs, and you're seeing people list these autos on, you know, out for $5,000, $6,000. So people obviously believe in it, like, or they feel like it has a future from a value standpoint. Do you agree?
I think so MCU autos are definitely a huge factor for the future. If we're looking at PMGs and Red Spectrums and those kind of cards, MCU autos are right up there. I mean, you just have to look at the Robert Downey Jr. 2008 Iron Man on card signature to believe in those prices. And that's $15K, $20K. And the next time you see that card and where it starts being at an auction and graded at a 10 or a 9, you're looking at 40, 60K.
Nate sold for 67.
Robert Downey Jr., is he still signing? Because I didn't see it. Black Diamond.
So for Downing, like, you know, when Iron Man was first coming out, no one thought Iron Man was going to do well. And Downing hadn't been, I mean, he's been acting, but he hadn't really been behind a big title like that. And people were very nervous. And I think what happened is that he signed for 2008, excited about the character and all this stuff. And then they realized they were going to franchise him. He was like, well, I'm not going to do this for a little bit of money. And then Rittenhouse couldn't get him back. They got some memorabilia cards like in Iron Man 2. So those are a good play. But no, he hasn't come back on card, and there hasn't been on card MCU in some time. Mm-hmm. And that's the tricky thing for me.
Since when? Sorry, just for a newbie.
Oh God, I think Thor Dark World had some on card autos. I might be wrong, but like, I think you're looking at Thor Dark World. You see Iron Man. Oh God, and maybe one more. I'm just not remembering off the top of my head.
The 2019 Marvel Flares are on card, right?
Yeah, but that's not MCU.
Oh, you guys are only strict talking about actors.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, for actors, just because, like, you know, on card autos. You know, what they started doing with the comic cuts when we're going to comic art and writers and artists from comic books, those started becoming stickers like the X-Men medal for Claremont and Stenko, right, Justin? Mm-hmm. You know, Spidey. So I think those two are the comic cut stickers that they have going on there. But yeah, I figured we talk about MCU just because it hasn't really been talked a lot about. Most people have been really focused on comic art. I haven't personally, like, financially got behind MCU cards for some reasons, not because I don't believe in them and not because I don't see people making money or know of people who are making the right kind of money.
Real quick, will you, for the viewer who may not know, what does it mean to be on card?
Solid. Yeah, sorry.
Good question.
Great question. So what a lot of people don't realize is that on-card autos for autograph collectors, especially people who are in trading cards for autograph, that's key. Mm-hmm. Has to be on card. And the reason might seem weird, but it makes a lot of sense to me personally, is that the actor held on to that card, right?
as opposed to signing a sticker, which is probably spread out over a page, and there's like 100 or 500, who knows? And they're signing each sticker. Somebody peels the sticker, puts it on the card. Actor never touched the card.
Just that 1 degree of separation, I think, really gets under people's skin when they collect. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because price range for on-card stuff, like in Star Wars, right? Certain Star Wars cards that are like Han Solo, Harrison Ford auto on card, so expensive that the sticker is less, but it's still on card auto, and people go for it. Personally, I think it's cool just to have something autographed. Like, I think it's great. Like convention autographs, sticker autographs, on card autograph. I think they're wonderful. And I think that's what everyone's really excited about MCU signings, is these actors are having these signed cards, and some of the cards have something called an encryption. No, what is it called?
Inscription.
What's the word? Inscription. Sorry, inscription. Have an inscription on there, and there were quite a few in Black Diamond. There had been some sprinkled out in like Endgame and a few other sets, but Black Diamond primarily had pretty significant ones. Like
about the phrase, like "Give me Thanos,"
"Bring me Thanos." You had the actor who played Falcon, who's Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had one. I'm trying to think who else did.
Scarlet Witch, she did a great one. Elizabeth Orton, who did You Will, and I love that. That's the scene where she's like with Thanos, and Thanos tells her, "I don't even know who you are," and she's like, "You will," and she's like, she kicks ass. I'm like,
I rewatched that. It was so good, and then she got good. About to destroy him, she got interrupted.
Yeah, she can kill it.
Another thing, just on autos, is you have like you mentioned, you have the on card, you have the sticker, but then you also have the ones where I think, at least in Marvels, and the super common ones are when Joe Jusko just signs on top of a base card or whatever, right? That's one too. But I think another thing that's huge, even on card, there's levels to the on card, not only depending on who signed it, but also how clean that signature is. There's some where you see they're just scribbling.
There's a huge value difference between, I'm going to use the word sanctioned, that it was intended for that set.
Correct.
As opposed to just got it signed.
Correct. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Me in the trading card world, that's huge. And I'm sure that's that way in the sports world. I remember trying to get Kobe to sign a Kobe Bryant rookie card, and I couldn't get to him. That wouldn't have nearly the value of pulling an on card auto from Kobe that's numbered to 10 in the set.
Pack pulled autos, man. That's 100% what I'm behind. And there's some really good ones that you just don't know about from the 90s that are really tough.
This is Pack Fresh podcast. I mean,
that's it, baby. It's all about that Pack Fresh.
Love it. Line
just
show us your saved watch list. That's all.
Yeah. What you saying is what you saying is the grail of autos. Stan Lee?
I'd say it's
you're dangerous.
Mentioned.
I think if you're lumping them all in the same thing, on card auto, right, and you're putting them all together, what's the grail? It's the Iron Man.
Hands down. Iron Man.
Is it?
Has to be. Yeah, only because
it was the first MCU, and it's Robert Downey Jr.
He made like the MCU, which will be like, oh God, what was the first Disney? Steamboat Willie, maybe that was the one. But really Cinderella. Anyway, but that's gonna be the movie, the anchor, the benchmark to everything. Like we're gonna see Iron Man. I mean, think about it this way, right? I just rewatched Spider-Man Homecoming, which is part 2. And there's what happened?
Far From Home is part 2. Homecoming is the one with Vulture.
Oh God, you're right. So Far From Home is when he's in Europe. Perfect.
Mysterio.
Thank you, Spidey G. Mysterio. Thank you. Yes. So I was just rewatching that scene, and when he's in the airplane and he takes the mantle of being Spider-Man, he's making the suit. It's all mirrored images to Iron Man. Him putting his hand in the glove, the creating the suit, listening to the song, the music, AC/DC, and he says it's Led Zeppelin, which is great. And it's just a great moment, right? But it's of course that Iron Man movie being echoed. And I think that's why people look at it. I mean,
Endgame ended with Iron Man. And that's how the first movie ended.
Yep.
Iron Man. I mean, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. It was great.
I'm gonna throw in a wrench in this whole conversation with autos because I think I was just listening to some sports card talk and they were mentioning the same thing. One of the biggest risks I think people have on buying MCU on card autos is the fact that just like in sports, obviously sports, if a player gets injured, your card value is going to tank just naturally, right? Depending on the severity of the injury. But on the celebrity side, what if that celebrity gets canceled?
Big factor.
Yep.
I recently saw, I think it was a Black Diamond, Chris Hemsworth card. Like I think it was 3K it sold for. Like I do worry about Thor as a character, like Chris Hemsworth as a actor. Sorry. So yeah, it's a very good point. What you're saying.
Yeah. I think it's really tricky. The thing that's happening with Jeremy Renner right now, which is super disgusting. And the thing that happened with the woman who played the Rebel Bomber in Mandalorian, Gina
Carano.
Yeah.
MMA star.
They haven't the whole thing that happened with her and what she was doing, and how they just popped her out of there. They were like, nope, and they took her out of there. I think there's a lot of, and that's why I'm always behind the comic art aspect, right? Yep. Because like Pokemon,
they can't say that ACL.
Yeah. I just believe that. I 100% believe that. And that's probably why I haven't spent a lot on the MCU. Like, I know there's a few things that I would pick up if I ever found for the right price with a heartbeat, in a heartbeat. And I think they're great. And if you collect them, go all the way, because I don't see that stopping. And Black Diamond held prices, man. And I have to admit, like, that Black Diamond title really made sure those cards were like kicking. And I'm pretty surprised at some of the prices I'm seeing. And I didn't expect that at all.
I do think, by the way, that like new collectors, like again, talking about sports people, and we always bring that up because that's the largest, piece of the pie when it comes to yeah, correct. Like they're going to gravitate. I think if I had to guess the order, they're obviously going towards PMGs, followed by jambalayas, and then I think it's going to be followed by autographs, and then they're going to follow that up with numbered, and lastly, they're going to get into everything else.
And you know what? I was just watching a video with Gingy that you guys should all check out with a fellow collector named Sam, who's Black Slab. What is it? I just saw it today.
Black Label Slabs. Yeah,
Black Label Slabs is good. That's a good name. Super nice guy, really smart guy. Elusive, you mentioned this too to me just recently. Funny enough, and he was saying that, and I caught Elusive saying this too, and a few other friends of mine, and they were like, "Man, I see certain Marvel cards," and he and Sam actually said, he was like, "Man, Marvel cards are just the coolest cards. They're cooler than sports cards. You know what I mean? They just have cooler art on. They have cooler things to them." And Elusive was just telling me of him like looking through the cards and be like, "Man, this looks great." And Elusive has a great video for the inserts, right? Where like the art, and he's like looking at the art and saying which art ranks where subjectively and all that stuff. But at the same time, yes, it's subjective, but man, you can't argue with what's cool. You know what I mean? There's this weird universal thing that happens. And you guys all know this when you show your wives, husbands, partners, whatever, everybody out there, when you show them something you purchased, right? And you're like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Within the first 3 seconds of them being like, "Oh, that's sick." Or they're like, "Is that a card? What is that? How much did you spend on that? Don't lie to me." You lost them, right? But when they can look at it objectively and be like, "Oh, that's sick," you got it. You know what I mean? That's always going to be a good piece in terms of like, and it's not always has to come back for investing for me. But I do think a lot of times I get excitement when I know I have something that not only I enjoyed, but I don't have to like, you know what I mean? Feel guilty spending the money.
Yeah. And like we in the recent episode you just saw, like you don't have to worry in the sports card world about a player getting injured. You don't have that aspect at all. You can just enjoy the card, enjoy the character. Do you know what I mean? I think that's massive.
Super important.
Massively important, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, that's a good... Yeah, I think you're talking about right when you show it to someone like a casual that doesn't, maybe they're into the MCU, but no, I mean, it is what it is, right? They're into the MCU, and I think that's where Black Diamond, I think, bridges that gap, because if they're not totally into Marvel, they might get into the MCU cards, and then, oh, I didn't know there was X, Y, and Z. Then they find about, masterpieces. Then they follow up with, Fleer retro cards.
By the way, there's a box of. Hope you don't mind me asking, telling you. There's a box of Marvel Black Diamond for $600 on eBay currently. So that's the
What a
going
deal.
rate.
And by box, you mean a pack?
No.
No. The box has
Case?
1 pack in it.
Which is 6 cards.
Well, yeah. Okay.
What do you guys feel? Hey, let's be honest.
To make it clear, it's $100 a card.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about that? Be honest. Like, do you guys really, personally? I mean, we'll get everybody's take. Let's start with Gingy. But what do you feel about those prices on the Black Diamond, Gingy?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just double check it. Yeah, it is. Not that you were ever wrong, but I think that's probably actually about right. If you're talking about like overrated, underrated, like I think that's probably where it should be, considering what's in there in terms of scarcity. I look at that box, I think, right, that's 600, and then you look at what the 90 MU was going for, like the Series 1 card. You're thinking, like, come on.
Yeah. But it has a Stan Lee. Come on, that's Stan Lee. There was only 10 of them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, I think justified would be my answer.
I mean, we lost.
Sorry, there was only 10 of them. I love that. That was funny. Sorry, just funny.
At $400 a box, which is a pack of 6 cards, they sold out in how many days?
6, 7, something ridiculous.
Right under a week.
Right under a week, I think.
You know what I would like to know about that? I mean, obviously they're not going to show those kind of analytics or statistics, but I wonder how many people made up for that sellout, right? Like, that's the thing too. Is it 1,000 people, or was it
that
like
was bulk buying?
100?
That was bulk buying. That was FOMO. That was bulk buying. Look, the thing. Black Diamond just brought in collectors who understood what Black Diamond was. And that was the thing. Like when we were on the MCC pod and we were talking to the person who came up with this concept of an upper deck,
Brian?
That's it. God, so many people starting with B's. I keep forgetting. I feel terrible. But he was awesome. But he was saying that Black Diamond has such a prestige to it, such a history. And I do think that's the bridge that's going to start bringing both Marvel collectors and sports collectors into Marvel over and over again, especially with the MCU. That was a very smart move to bring them in there. In terms of the price, for me, what upsets me with the price, and obviously I'm just not the audience for it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, do I think you can make your money back from buying a box? If I honestly think you did, I would have bought an e-pack. I would have bought a box on e-pack. I don't have Spidey Juju, and I can't do that. I can't do what he can do. So I just didn't bother.
One exquisite collection card, yeah?
Oh. So, basically, it just depends. It depends on character, obviously, right? And it depends on SIG. The biggest issue I have is that box can have a diamond facet, which is the cell, this film cell. That's trash. That's going to be not trash, and I feel bad. Sorry. I mean, in the sense of value.
It's not
after that's the only thing, and I think they look great, and I like them. But that's exactly the point. Lucid and Spidey said it. It's a $5 card in a $600 box at this point. Mm-hmm. That can't happen, and it's because it's not hard numbered. If it was hard numbered and they had hard numbered that set or everything, I would have bought in. I would have bought a box and be like, okay, I'm solid. I don't got to worry, because at least I know mathematically there's enough rarity in here that some pieces will at least hold closer to $100 or $50 mark.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, because already you're trying to justify the price. If you're already in a position where you're trying to justify the price, then you shouldn't have bought it in the first place.
It's best offer.
But Norn, if all 6 cards would have been numbered, that set would just it have been unbelievable. So I bought 7 packs.
Beast.
And of the 7, 4 of them, 1 card paid for the vast majority of it. But you have to get lucky.
Yeah.
You really do. To pull 1 card that paid for over 3 packs, like that's really lucky. You know what I mean?
Really lucky. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then like Norman mentioned, Spidey Jew, he's like Steph Curry, shooting threes. He doesn't miss, so he could do that.
I didn't even. It's funny because I pull it. I don't even know what I got, and then all of a sudden people start messaging me. I'm trying to wake Norton up on the East Coast. I'm like, dude, I need to talk to you. People are messaging me, anyways. But
that was great.
But to your point. There were 3 of those packs, pure junk.
Yeah,
pure junk.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, who's your target audience too at that price point, right? Like, because it's not gonna be kids that are watching the MCU movies.
No, it's sports car collectors who want to dabble in Marvel. That's what it was.
That's it. 100%. And it was maybe the 1 or 2 people who understand what MCU is and are trying to corner that market. And they are. Like, don't be confused. Like, and look, and if you're young and you want to get into Marvel and you're a kid or you're just getting into this for the first time, don't let these prices like shame you or scare you away. There are ways to work around these prices. Maybe not for the top cards, but I promise you there's a way to work around these cards. You have comc.com. You have 6 months after just wait 2 months after the e-pack release and go to comc, and you're going to pick up a whole set. You're going to pick up some really beautiful pieces for good prices. The point of all this is just so that everyone understands that when you think you're banging your head against a wall or you're like, I'm getting taken for a ride, understand it's not you, A, only experiencing this, and B, understand that the market is doing something that's currently happening right now only because we are in our infancy of Marvel card collecting. That's it. You know what I mean? That's really what it is.
I by the way, I don't know if you guys want to answer a question, but one of the questions that I keep getting submitted to me, and I think it transitions well into what we're talking about, is when does the value of your card become too high that you have to sell?
Ooh.
Right? And
that's a good question.
Yeah, Gingy.
No. Yeah, Gingy, you go.
I mean, it completely depends on. Like, there's loads of different factors, isn't there? I guess. Like, how.
And the question, by the way, sorry, the just to make it easier, let's exclude one of ones because you're never going to see those again. So excluding one of ones, if you buy a card, let's say you buy a card for $100, when do you say, okay, man, $10,000, I have to take it?
I think I'm quite black and white with things like this. So, if it's on its way up, and you're comfortable in taking that, and then that's when I would pull the trigger. But again, you that's not an easy question to answer because there's so many factors around it. Like I don't know, man. Because for example, I just spoke to Sam about PMGs. He has a whole set of reds, bronzes from 2017. I wouldn't be selling that for the next 5 years. That's my personal.
So timing.
So I don't know.
I love that. I agree, Gingy. I think you're 100% right on that. I mean, God. So when I started doing the Silver Surfer thing, it literally was just for fun. But what a good point to this is though, I did start grabbing some other cards that I kept hearing through the grapevine that were grail cards and that people weren't paying attention to. And I was like, well, man, if I can grab like a list of these, like a top 10 list, and put them on my Instagram, and I'll just grab them, and I'll do something, I'll share what they are. But once I get them, I'll do
full disclosure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll definitely do it. And I did for a few of them that I got. And what ended up happening was, I had a few of them and I was going to keep them. I had every intention of keeping them. And then, the 2 or 3 that I just grabbed because they were considered rare and hard to find cards doubled. And, I had something of Surfer come up and I was like, well, I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? I've basically, for me, when I start diminishing my card fund that I have set aside for card purchases, I start looking around like, well, I got to offload because I got to build this back up. And just in case something pops up, I have some cash there to pull on. Because I hate pulling cash from my account, like for house and money and rent and food. little things.
Yeah, the little things.
The little things. The little things. Once that starts happening, I very quickly start looking around. But there's certain things I just don't sell because I'm not done with them yet, I guess would be my answer.
What about you, Justin?
Well, I think it's, for like the general question, it's like really relative, right? For everybody. It's different for everybody. If you're not I hate the word true collector because it's so whatever. But
it's a harsh word. Yeah.
It's been watered down now too. We don't know.
If you don't own the card because you're collecting it, then you got to sell it when you're making a profit. I mean, like if
that was your intent from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, like I have some principles, and one of them is I have to sell something every week. Every week.
Yeah.
And because to me, it is a muscle that you have to exercise. It's weak at first because you're like, oh, I really don't want to sell. But the more you do it, the better. And that begins to make the hobby healthy. Because if you only hoard, that gets unhealthy. If you sell everything, then you got nothing to enjoy, and you got to buy in at a higher price. So you got to have a good, healthy balance. But I think if you're talking about selling what you're collecting, that's probably very relative to what is going on in the circumstances of your life. Because it may not be when the market's hot. Maybe just when you need to unload. And I think that's going to be different for everybody. And hopefully no one ever has to do that. They can sell exactly when they want to for whatever price they want to.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with all your guys' points, and I think that makes sense. I think, like you mentioned, it comes down to the individual and their circumstances, right? But another good thing to keep in mind, I would say, for new collectors is, let's say you're not in a position to where you need to sell it. Like there's nothing that, no bills you have to pay, especially if you're a teenager living at home, whatnot. I would say though, if you're going to sell a bigger piece, already know where you're going to allocate that money, right? Like don't sell something just for the sake of selling it. If it's something bigger, right? Not to Justin's point about getting used to selling, that's fine. But if you're going to sell a huge piece, I would only sell a huge piece if I already know, I'm going to buy this with that money and I need that. But if it's not that, then I wouldn't sell just because, just for the sake of selling again.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's smart. I mean, I did that for the PMG. Like you know what I mean? Like I sold a really big piece and I knew exactly where that money was going to go. And it helped, it helped understanding how that move was going to be made before I did it, Yeah.
We've talked a lot about that kind of stepping up to the next thing. I think, Spidey, you said that sketch card. We've all said it, haven't we, really?
Yeah, we really do.
That's a hugely important part, is like thinking about your next move. So
I mean, I turned a paperclip into the gold 101, Spidey.
Paperclip.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Those are good. That's a good angle, by the way. It's a good angle. Yeah, it's a good angle. I've seen people. No lie. I've seen people hit me up trying to trade, and they're obviously trying to trade something that's like lower value from their end and something higher value from me, but they'll try to justify it. I've had only once when they're like, "I'm doing the paperclip challenge."
Yeah.
As if that's going to make
like,
you know what, man?
You're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll lose money.
Oh, you should have led with that.
God, that's great.
I had a thought. If you had $600 right now, what would you do? In terms of buying Marvel cards.
Is there any rule?
Okay,
like
wait.
cards,
What are we talking about?
So Marvel card, one Marvel card. It can be like one graded card. It could be a box. It can be a pack.
Are we assuming that the card is just available? Because what I would want to do is it's not available.
Which one's that's never going to come up?
I mean, I would buy. I would like to get a blue 2017 Spider-Man PMG.
Okay.
And I think that it would take $600.
I don't know if you'll get it for $600.
You'll
get a red. I think you'll get a red for sure.
Maybe a bronze at this rate.
I want you to get a blue, Spidey.
You guys are underestimating me.
We're bad. That's fair. I think Spidey's scary enough that he'll do it for sure. I agree on that.
Yeah, I think, it comes down to like your networking, and if you know someone that will do a favor for you for sure. But just eBay, eBay or ComC, you're not getting one for $600.
Spider Red. I don't want to pay that. I do not.
I know.
No, that's fair though. That's something to think about. There is stuff where you have to draw the line, like what you won't pay for certain things.
Mhm.
And trust me, I've been there, man. I've definitely not wanted to pay certain prices for things. And luckily I haven't had to, well, that's not true. I've had to cave once or twice. That was printing plates. Some guy had a full set of Marvel Beginnings printing plates, all of them. The full set. Marvel Beginnings goes over 3 sets over multiple years. It's one of the biggest sets Marvel has ever put out. Well, Upper Deck has ever put out, ever. And they had a printing plate for every card, including the breakthrough issues. Nice guy, super cool. Met him. We correspond through email, every card. And he wouldn't budge. He wouldn't, but and I'll sell prices, but he wouldn't budge from 500. 500 a plate.
A plate?
A plate.
Did you ever sell it?
Yeah, I bought 2, like an idiot. Yeah, I bought 2.
So
I did. I had to.
But I think Justin is the only one that answered. We're dancing around the question.
What's the question?
Buy?
What would I buy? Sorry.
Yeah, what would you buy with 600?
I was hoe down. It's available, $600.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Another green surfer. I think I would I'm just kidding. $600.
Such a
I'm
gonna bleep that bit out.
Please.
What was I gonna do? 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
No, not 666, just 6.
I had to sell something to get it. Wow, 600. I don't know what there is out there. It's a hard question because 6 is a weird number. 6 is a hard number.
It's quite relevant to potentially something you're looking at now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the future. I don't know.
I got nothing I'm looking at right now. I'm really not looking at anything because there's nothing up. I put a huge post out looking for surfer stuff.
Did you get any no response to that? No.
Nothing really. Nothing surprisingly interesting. You know what I mean? Like people are trying to give me graded cards. People are trying to get me into 9s, but I kind of suspect that things are going to change in the next 3 months. So I haven't made anything. But probably.
Let's talk about that.
You want to talk about that? Well,
change.
I don't. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can definitely. So what's the question?
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a long episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
I would buy. I don't know the prices, but assuming I'm sure I could get it for this price. I don't know if I could get both, but I would buy the MM16 Kaleidoscope for Wolverine, and if I could get the Spider-Man to go with it, I'd get both for $300 each. But I don't know what they go for.
Decent.
It depends. But I think that's a good
for sure. One of them, right? I can lock down one of them for 600.
One of them for 600, I think, is more than fair. I would doubt. I hope not. I hope that's not crazier. I mean, you're talking about the 1 out of 25, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's not crazier than that. I don't think I'd be prepared to go crazier than that because kaleidoscopes are just not that insert at that level on the chart, right? Like certain inserts are very high on priority and other inserts are not. And I don't think kaleidoscope is very high on that list. So I think
I just love that Wolverine. I just love
beautiful.
That yeah.
Beautiful.
You think I could get a Spider-Man 2017 Jambalaya for 600?
That's close.
I think you could now, yeah. Right.
Hey, I don't know if you guys noticed. Shout out to Stacking Gems, but he got nothing. Like he probably has all the sets for Jambalayas, but
every day he's doing that.
Yeah, he's just stunning on us. But
he's scary.
But one of the things I was going to say, like one of the things that's super good that he does on every one of those posts, though, is he tells you the pack odds for each one of those Jambalayas. Yeah. And if you guys seen a recurring theme, the 2017 are easier to pull than any other. Yeah, more than 2013, easier than 2015. So to your point, Justin, I think you should be able to lock that down for the 2017.
They're out of 30.
I would lock it.
Numbered out 30.
I don't know. They say that, but I don't know if they're numbered out of 30 for the 17s. That might be the case for the 13s and 15s.
They're hard numbered.
Oh, that's right. They are. That's right. 2017 Jambalayas are hard number, aren't they?
Yeah, out of 30. I have the 2099. I've got number 6 out of 30.
I opened only one of those boxes and I pulled the Jambalaya Spider Woman, but it doesn't say. That's the thing. It says out of 30, but it's the same number.
Is it okay? So you're saying there's 30 jambalayas. It's not.
Yes. Correct.
It might be a set number. It's not a
Yes.
hard number. It's a set number. Maybe that's it. Someone told me about the jambalayas being like more consistent in 17.
Eugene, I think you were talking about. He was
something. Maybe he's the one who said it. But like, yeah, I know your jambalayas are being slept on 100%. Like if I had another silver, that's what I would. Well, yeah, not anymore. But I would definitely pick up a Silver Surfer jambalaya for 6. Yeah. I would pick. I would buy it. Why not? Yeah, I'd buy it under 6 or 6. I can see myself doing that.
Yeah, well, that's the 2013, right? That's the best. Yeah.
Well, 2013 is 1 in 4,100 character odds.
That's crazy.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a jambalayas, man. They're hard to grade too, man. They're sleepers for sure. I think they're nice. I think the TIs are sleepers too. I like the TIs. The TI inserts from 2013. I like them.
They're similar to those from the X-Men metal sets. What are those called again?
The Palladiums. Yeah.
Palladiums. There you go.
Yeah. They're not cut in that interesting shape. They're a full size card, but like I think they're great. I mean, I like them. I've always liked those full transparency ones. The X Century. I think transparent pieces are really nice. I just think they look good.
You know what I didn't know, by the way, about the X Centuries is that the Spider-Man is a 1 of 1 on the 2017.
Yeah, it is,
X
baby.
Century.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Justin. Look at Justin. His eyes are like, he woke up and he's like, what?
I'll go for it.
The Venom and the Miles.
Oh,
really,
good
really
ones.
cheap. Really cheap.
Good ones to pick up. They're pretty, man. They look great in hand, don't they? I really like them.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, that was pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So just to wrap up, basically, we talked about MCU autographs a little bit. We'll come back and do another episode where it's talk about pack pulled autos on the comic book side. We'll talk about how many Juice Go autos are out there, how, to be aware of what kind of autos are on there, what's on card still, what's hard stamped, what to look for. A lot of cool secrets in Marvel cards. But I think that really kind of sums it up, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on, man.
Yeah.
It's short but sweet one today.
Short and sweet for this one, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining Marvel's Pack Fresh Packs. Loved it. And I love being with you guys. Hope you all have a marvelous day.
Marvelous day.
Have a great week.
Marvelous.
Marvelous.